good? And it is pretty good. Oh. Yeah, that's... if you sit really centrally on that sofa, yeah, it's going to line you up perfectly with the... And that one's for you.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh,
Jet.
sweet. So,
What's
thank
up?
you so much for making the time.
Of course, bro. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we've got Braydon here. We've also got Lettuce, who's might be like the voice of God in our ears sometimes, as that keeps us on track. As he either keeps us on track or yeah, maybe comes in with an opportune question, should the moment be right.
Cool.
There's so much I want to talk to you about. I want to talk about a sort of your, not necessarily your passion, but this amazing skill set you have, and something that I'm really passionate about and admire you greatly for, which is tech climbing, which I don't think gets enough credit.
Oh, yeah.
I want to talk about this new format of racing that you've you've sort of stumbled across, and I want to talk about sort of the personal journey of riding. Before I get to that, I want to say if you do hear some background noise, dear listener, it's because we are being kindly hosted by Maxxis at Crankworx, and we are in it right now.
It's happening right here, right around us.
When I watched your whole enchilada video, there was talk, with some of the, the other people describing being interviewed. You came to mountain biking a bit late in terms of tech, full suspension bikes.
Totally.
How old were you when you started? Would you say when you kind of transited fully to mountain biking?
So I got a mountain bike in 2016. Yeah. My really good friend, Mitch Ropolato, we've been childhood friends. Like, we're brothers. And, he's gone on to do an amazing mountain bike career, and he's still awesome and crushing it. But in 2016, I was like, man, what am I going to do? I just graduated university. I was like, what is my future? And I got a trail bike. And I just so quickly fell in love with riding. It was so hard. There were so many different components to the ride that I was like instantly engaged in, like, I want to figure this out. Because the dirt's always changing. The bikes are changing. The terrain with jumps or tech or climbs. There was just such a variety of skill sets and challenges. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing in life, but like, I enjoy riding my bike. And so I was like, there was a time where I kind of thought biking was done. Like, I hung it up when I was 18 after a pretty successful amateur career in BMX racing. And I was like ready to figure out what I was going to do for a career and provide for my family. And mountain bikes was just that hobby that I loved.
When I watch you ride, both as I see you do hideous things in terms of cornering and inside lines.
Well, you saw me crash up there. That was.
Well, I know, but I just saw you so composed, and it feels like watching you ride on tech climbs and descents. You have a real strong awareness of where your body is and what it's doing. And you mentioned also on the chairlift that you're not necessarily, if your kids want to ride bikes, that's great. Yeah. They're actually doing things like gymnastics. Did you do any of that as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do gymnastics, but I did like karate. I did soccer, baseball, swimming, BMX. So I did a variety of sports, and I just, like, I happen to have found cycling, and it's my soul sport. I love it so much, but I take influence from all the other sports that I've done, and it's helped me become the best rider that I can be. And so, like with my kids, they're doing gymnastics, and they're doing track, and they're doing, piano. They're doing all kinds of different things.
Nice. Yeah.
And my hope's just to help them be as equipped as possible for whatever it is they want to do. So, that's kind of been an interesting path to figure out.
Yeah. Because I've got some friends that maybe also slightly later to riding.
Cool.
But they did many sports when they were younger.
Okay.
And I think in some ways, I don't know if awareness is the right word, but just knowing how to articulate their body in the way that some people are really good at articulating language and can make the words fit into the package they need.
Totally, yeah.
Like, I can't do that in my body. My body feels like one solid piece of like timber.
You totally can. Totally can.
There's an element of that of like, and then when I see you ride, it really kind of, I find it's a really interesting thing because, how to put it, when I saw that whole enchilada video, this sort of personal challenge, but also incredibly, anyone that mountain bikes can understand it. It's not like too abstract.
Yeah.
And I think that what occurred to me was, so many riders who we have this like prism of like what being a good mountain biker is. And it's almost sometimes about being really fast all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not racing World Cups by the age 0, you're pretty much
right.
You kind
You're
of
excluded from that bunch.
Yeah,
just naturally.
But it's like actually our mountain bike journey is such a personal thing, and it's something so it can be anything we want it to be.
Totally, yeah.
And when we come to like tech climbing, for me, some of the things you do are more committing and scary than just sending it off a big drop. Or I worry about like the thought of like looping out and getting the saddle. And is the fear present for you?
Oh yeah, it's very present. I mean, mountain biking is a super risky, scary sport, and like I have the most respect for the slope, the downhill, all of the disciplines, but like I want to be able to ride for my entire life with as little risk as possible, so I can ride every day.
Yes.
And so, what that means is that I got to get really knowledgeable in the fundamentals, in the ability to get off the bike, in the ability to get out of crappy situations. Because this riding to me is like, it's a therapy, it helps me every day, like develop a self-belief that I can keep doing it, whatever it is. And so, like the climbing thing, for example, like before I ever go for a climb, I make sure that I can get off the bike really fast. I'm in clipping pedals, and that to some people is like kind of freaky if you're climbing.
It's we've got both sides of the argument right here.
So like, I mean, practicing drills, like a picnic table, you can stick your front wheel up on a picnic table, stall out, and practice unclipping and stepping to the sides, or falling back and clipping out and getting off the back of the bike like you're falling back. And I think that's just come because I hate getting hurt. I hate wrecking myself, and I don't like sending anything.
Yes.
So, and I think that's kind of my approach with it.
When I did what I don't want to, I know there's stuff in the future I want to get onto, but watching that whole enchilada video, it almost seemed, in some ways, like a really nice, kind of, I don't know, it sounds a bit laying on a bit thick, but almost like sort of a poem by your friends and family to your character as well. Was it quite touching? Must have been very heartfelt to watch.
Yeah, I mean, that movie was like during the really tough time of 2020 with COVID, and there was some people in my community that, took their lives. And I was like, what can I do to share a positive message?
Yeah. And
I was like, well, I could go do something challenging and then just display kind of the mental stuff that I've learned.
Yes.
And so that's what that whole goal was to like put that out there to help people and show, here's this crazy climb, but here's the mental components behind it.
Yes.
And then, that took a lot of being vulnerable and being open and sharing up about my personal life that I'm not comfortable doing. Yeah. But the goal was to just, help that little kid or help that person maybe just believe a little bit more that they could go do whatever it is they were up against. So that was kind of the reason why.
Yeah.
So.
And do you think, something I noticed that I thought was really interesting as well on the chairlift, you have this amazing, the way you use your notes app on your phone.
Oh.
Which I think actually, when we talk about so many abstract ideas in riding, or so many like intangible things like good day, bad day, nailing a turn, hitting a turn, like from the outside, it probably is really hard to discern which is which.
Yeah.
But you seem to be able to like quantify rank and go through this in a personal journey.
Yeah.
Almost like the dance of a karate belt. Like, how did I execute that? What's that? And that seems like a really rewarding way to ride. Like, I love the idea about, not necessarily being tied into like data and being like, oh, I did, that was a good ride because Strava said so.
Right.
But just understanding what it means to yourself.
Yeah.
Like a really
internal versus external, you know, like controlling and putting your value on things that you can directly control. Like I can control the way I hit that corner. I can control everything about the ride. I can't control how I rank, and that's a great like reference point, but it's not where I put my value.
Yes.
It's like if I can feel myself improving in my corners, if I can feel myself improving in my whips or threes or whatever, or my climbs, the motivation stays high.
Yeah.
The anxiety is kind of kept at bay.
Yeah.
And just my decision making's better. It's not like I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody else other than just keep fueling my stoke to ride.
Totally.
And it's like, yeah, it's been a fun thing, and it's been really cool to, just kind of see the growth in myself and like look back and see my riding progress. And yeah, it's a fun journey.
There's a phrase I really like, and it's something we've spoken about at QuarterHP as we had these sort of like, the formative discussions, like what's this going to be, and how do we view it, and what's our modus?
Yeah.
And it's basically, to lead the orchestra, you got to turn your back on the audience and kind of shut out what they expect of you,
right.
and not be concerned with necessarily giving people what they want, but thinking that if you make something heartfelt and with passion that's very true, that it will resonate in some way.
I love that. Yeah.
Do you think that, I also think with mountain biking, one of the reasons it's such a great tool for sort of mental health, as an aid in the journey, if nothing else, is that you get scared and you get cold and you get hungry and you feel the extremes.
Yeah.
In this amazing, like, structured journaling you do you also document the sort of the times you kind of come back down to earth a bit?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't like to just show the highlight reel, and in the world we live in, you have to self-market yourself. That's the reality of being in this space is, you have to show a story. And so I try to tell my story in the most authentic way, where I'm out working a lot on riding skills and I'm showing the struggles, like my crash that I had 6 weeks ago and broke a bunch of ribs. I've kind of showed a little bit of my process of getting through that. And yeah, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, it's not all magazine articles where everything is like great. It's like you have to show the lows and the highs, and hopefully your overall trajectory is up. But
100%.
Yeah.
But that's a really good point, because when we talk about authenticity, I think you're right. I think authenticity cuts through in a way that people can identify and spot it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this sort of, what your plans are for the future with this new form of racing, because that feels like it's very authentic to you.
Yeah.
How do you feel about, in terms of interest from the audience and as well as athletes, because it's very different?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, my career's been really weird. Like, you have these pro riders that have been doing it their whole life, and they've have these amazing stats and they've reached these big milestones and events. And my career path has been completely different. I love the sport of mountain biking, but I didn't fit into any category.
Yeah.
Like I was attracted to mountain biking because of the trail bike. It could climb, it could descend, it could jump, could corner, it could do everything. And it just gets me so stoked to go ride anything, any way I want. And so as I just kind of like found this path for me and making videos showing climbing and descending and jumping, I realized like I've built a career out of this. And it's been so good for the brands that I've worked with, promoting product that the everyday riders can get on and ride and, And so as I've kind of just dabbled for the last few years thinking about what's an event that could encompass this everything, most versatile rider, it just kind of organically came together. And like, I personally, I'm not racing, I'm not competing in that league that I'm doing, just because I think that that's kind of kooky. I know I'm building the tracks, I know every detail, but it's a space that I want to see be awesome.
And it's a space that I think, you said that the trail bike is so cool, and I think that's why enduro initially captured the attention, because it's representing riding.
It is exciting.
Yeah. And I think enduro kind of went away from that, and it's interesting to see because like hot laps in the same way.
Yeah.
Like try and actually represent like how people ride, because there is something to be said for the ultra produced, 17 writers pop track. There's also something to be said for garage rock bands.
Yeah.
And like how that resonates with actually the stuff that people
for sure
feel like, wow, I wish I'd expressed that. I wish I'd thought of that lyric. That's really, really good.
Yeah.
In terms of your plans your sort of long-term plans for it? You're going to just see
Yeah.
how it goes, or do you have like, do you want this to become a really like international thing? What's the plan for it?
You know, we have big goals and aspirations for it, but like if the riders don't want it, I don't want it.
Respect,
if the fans don't want it, I don't want to make something that's.
I think I really think the fans will like it though.
I hope so.
You go to a race and when the elites come down, it's 5-minute gaps.
Yeah.
And that's if it's raining and there are crashes,
right?
You don't see that much racing,
right?
But I think the idea of having a bit more condensed, this like especially
it's
the climb.
It's like I went to the U.S. Championships last week, and you know I watched Aaron Gwynn ride by, and I was like, oh, I wish I could watch more.
Yes.
And I watched Dak go by, and I was like, man, I want to see more.
Yeah.
And then I go to our track, the RideMTB track, and I'm like, from one spot you can watch raw, you can watch tech rhythm, you can watch jumps and downhill, and it's like, that's what I want to watch as a fan. And then riding it, it's really technical.
Yes.
You know?
Oh, totally. And I think as we try and you might actually be hearing, I don't know if you remember, this was an amazing, I can't remember what song it was in, but this is a Whistler segment, this song.
Oh, yeah?
It's an old movie with like all these hits. You might be able to hear a Cat Empire's blasting in the background.
That's
awesome.
Unreal, and it's Cat Empire's Two Shoes, and it was a...
There was one age ago, I remember, because Steve Pete was a young man in it. And he's like wiping his helmet and they're just doing the big hip up there. But yeah, can you remember that movie? No. Well, maybe, yeah. But anyway, you might be able to hear it in the background, but that's just the realities of...
Good stuff. That's where we're at, man.
Yeah. I think, though, that like you only got to see what Joyride does here.
It's special.
In terms of like breaking out of that core audience.
Yeah.
And convinced at QuarterHP, we want to give the core audience something they really enjoy.
Yeah.
But also we want to make something entertaining, make something big.
Yeah.
And for all of our, downhill's sort of inspiration from road cycling and Formula One and that, it forgets that when you're on the side of a track, it's sometimes hard, like the television spectacle might be getting better and the runs might be getting longer, but you need that energy of people actually being there, really giving a fuck. And
right.
I don't know.
Gives a lot of energy.
It gives a lot of energy.
Yeah, like the finish line at a World Cup is just electric. And when you're a spectator online, it's even more electric.
Yeah, totally.
So it's like, we're hoping to be able to create that great energy, great, technical component that riders are pushing. And just trying to satisfy a lot of the boxes. We're on the production bikes, we're doing technical riding for the core rider, and we're doing something that fans can be part of and experience. And
I should ask you to bring your mic.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, just a bit, but bleed through.
Sorry.
No.
But yeah, so trying to check through those boxes, and the fans, the riders, and then the product we're using is just all aligned and just building a better system,
And if this interview is, whetted people's appetite for curiosity,
yeah,
you want to do a shameless plug and just tell us dates, places?
Oh yeah. So this year, we're doing a kind of a celebration invite jam. We're going to be racing. It's going to be spectatored. It's going to be the 22nd through the 25th of October. So the week after Rampage. The 21st and 22nd, we're going to do a women's camp.
Amazing.
So we can just let them have their space and ride, and we'll, just be developing, making sure that we're moving at a good rate. And then next year we'll be on the new track where nobody will ever ridden it.
Sick.
And we'll be having the qualifier in May, and then the finalist and the finals in October 2026. And that's where the 100K combined prize purse will go out. Well, that's where we're starting.
Yeah.
With hopes to increase that every year. Yeah.
That's a good chunk.
I hope so.
We've got to see people, angle grinding the bottom bracket shell out there downhill bike to fit a gearbox in, to realize 100 grand's a lot of money.
Yeah, dude. Well, we're trying to really, and that's just the monetary. We're really wanting to, across the board with these athletes, give them mental strength resources, give them physical strength resources, give them brand building resources. So we can just help the riders be the best that they can be. And if they go off and race downhill or cross country, great. Use the resources we provide to be whatever you want to be.
And if you were a rider wanting to take part, how does that qualification work in May?
Yeah, so we'll have an application. You'll have to show your race results for the past year or two. Yeah. And then you'll have to, you'll be interviewed. There's a rider selection committee where, you know, you're going to want to, because we want to show people what it takes to be a great rider and overcome. So, you know, as you're out there on the track, you're going to be, you know, shown maybe trying to figure something out. It's not going to look, you're not going to look perfect.
Yep.
But when that race run comes and you nail your run, for people to see you go through a process of getting there, I think is a really powerful message.
And so will this be, in terms of how it's broadcast, will it be like a series or will it just be like a
It'll be a series.
Oh, I see. Cool.
Yeah. So we'll have development camps. We'll be sharing this process-driven mindset and how to overcome and all that. But then it will be a broadcast. It'll be a legit event along with the series throughout the year.
Because when we spoke, I didn't realize that the documentation side, because yesterday I was volunteering Remy to take part in it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we can lose him for that long. Hey, lettuce. He's got too many important things to do around here.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on.
He's got a lot going on. Amazing. Well, thank you genuinely for your time.
Thank you.
This has been, honestly, we had so much fun yesterday with the News Dissector.
Yeah,
the
that
launch
was fun.
And yeah, it's a big week called Crankworx. It's very stimulating. It's very broad.
Yeah.
But it's great to actually make some time, have a nice sit down conversation.
Yeah, get a little ride in.
Yeah. Lettuce, was anything glaring and obvious I was missing?
Not anything narrative related, but I will say for the core audience who's probably, you know, scratching their eyes out about our movie reference earlier, it's actually a segment from the Collective Seasons, which came out in 2004. So I just wanted to put the record straight.
I just remember there being like,
that's awesome,
really heavy Helly Hansen branding, and thinking that when I was getting to mountain bike and watched this video religiously, that Helly Hansen was like the biggest brand of mountain bike, and then I never saw it. And I was like, I know, it was so interesting.
How funny.
Kind of like a clear, like
Warren Miller type.
Yeah, once time the logo sticks in there, like embeds in your brain. I was so shocked. I was like, but the video I've watched 3,000 times. No one's wearing Helly Hansen. It was a really interesting thing. But hey, that's a very tedious tidbit for everyone.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks so much for your time, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me. Good luck with everything you guys are doing.
Yeah, likewise.
Thank you.
Sick.